All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Today is Tuesday, May the 16th, and a Salem-Keizer School District Budget Committee meeting is called to order. I will first begin with a land acknowledgement. We are gathered today on the land of the Kalapuya, who are represented by the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde and the Confederated Tribes of the Siletz Indians. The relationship between the Kalapuya people and this land continues unbroken to this day, and we offer gratitude for the land and for the generations present and past who have stewarded the land since time immemorial. We respectfully acknowledge and honor past, present, and future Native American and Indigenous students and staff of the Salem-Keizer Public Schools. We invite you to join us in honoring these ancestral grounds and celebrating the resilience and the strength of all Native American and Indigenous people. Thank you. All right, well, let's take a moment and we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so I'll continue with taking attendance. We've got Osvaldo Avila.
Present.
Ashley Carson Cottingham, here. Satya Chandagiri is not here this evening. Barbara Guillo. Here. Karina Guzman Ortiz. Here. Lisa Harnish, here. Marty Hyen. Maria Hinos Pressy. Here. Nancy McMorris Addix. Here. Ani Marchbanks.
Not here.
Laura Million.
Here.
Oscar Perez.
Not here.
Robert Salazar.
Here.
Thank you. And Patrick Schwab.
Here.
Awesome. I believe we have a quorum.
And we have our student advisor,
Our student advisors. Isaac McDonald.
Here.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Well, welcome everybody for our budget committee meeting. I would actually like to turn things over to Superintendent Perry to review our proposed budget and any response on committee questions.
All right, and I'm going to make two agenda corrections too, just so we have those. First of all, I'll do a tiny bit of review of proposed budget, and then I'm going to open it up to committee questions, because that's the best way to kind of get into the book and understand what's there. And so we'll call it, that second item will just be a quick review from me and then budget committee questions. And then number 4, discussion on what we posted was 22-23, and it should be the 23-24 proposed budget. So I just want to make those agenda clarifications. So then just a quick review on kind of what we know right now, since we're still having a lot of assumptions. So we haven't had any new news about any change in revenue. So legislature's still in session. We're still at $9.9 billion. The budget is built on that $9.9 billion in projected revenue. One thing that happens every May is we get what's called our May adjustments, and that is a kind of truing up of the previous year's state school funds. So it's a look back to the last 2 years to say, did we give you, given what's left in the state school fund, did we give each district in Oregon the right amount? And it's based on enrollment, it's based on revenue, it's based on how many students were in the system across Oregon. So every year we get that truing up from the previous years. Right now those numbers show we're down about $1 million. So we projected in this budget about $1 million, this current year's budget about $1 million more than what we're getting. So if you think, if it were a straight calculation, we've proposed a 77. If everything stays the same, the proposed beginning fund balance would be 76 now, because we're projecting a 77 ending fund balance that rolls. But still lots can change. I just like to keep you in the loop of how things can ebb and flow. We are still in successor bargaining, so we don't have any new bargaining updates. And then as the state legislature starts getting to whatever their number is, keep in mind that every 100 million will equal about 3.5 million for Salem-Keizer. So if they get to 10, it'll be another $3.5 million. If they get to 10.1, it's 7 million. And also, just a reminder that we're at that 2.9% contingency, which is pretty low for going into this time. I think our inflation might be slightly underestimated, so that's important to keep in mind as well. All right, so what I hope to do at this point is just to open it up for questions. You've had time with your book. You can say, I want to know what's budgeted in X function on whichever page. I have a general question. If it isn't something we can answer, we're just going to hold the question, and then at the end we'll decide how important is the question to the whole group. Some of them will be easy, but others might take staff work to figure out. So we'll figure out what's the will of the entire budget committee. With that, Lisa, I'll turn it over to you to facilitate questions.
All right, so thank you, Superintendent. So at this time, I'd like to open it up for questions. And Marty, I see you have your hand up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I want to just make sure that we are not cutting any funding to any of our CTE programs, correct?
Yeah, that is correct, Marty. And remember, they're budgeted in both the integrated guidance, and I think there are some budgeted within the budget book, because when you give staffing to schools, some of that staffing goes to CTE programs. So we're not cutting any, but also remember that we are, costs are increasing. So the dollar today doesn't get you quite as much as the dollar would next year.
Okay, but we're not cutting any programs. We'll make some sort of adjustments or whatever to cover the costs.
Correct. We have one shift in programming based on industry demand. So we have, remember, we've started the aviation program out at CTEC, and
Right.
we're going to start a mental health pathway program at CTEC, and the business program at CTEC, because there's a business strand at every high school, it is, we're not going to have business out at CTEC.
So our ag program, for example, at McKay is safe.
Correct.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Other questions? Barbara?
Yes, I have questions about safety improvements. I know that, I think in the past, or last year when I asked, a lot of the money came from bonds to make them more earthquake friendly. But I'm wondering if there's any, I think it's in the 500s or maybe in page 90. I'm trying to figure out where that money is as far as how much money goes to the district for improvements in vestibules.
Vestibules.
Just more related to keeping our kids safe from shootings. So instead of the earthquake. So I'm just curious how much money last year, how much money this year, and where do I find that? I couldn't figure out if it was number 90 maybe, 4150, building acquisitions and improvement services perhaps?
Well, okay, so the Capital Projects Fund is on page 171. And that is, but it's not going to be broken out for you to go and say, oh, this is how much we pay on safety. So because the bond project, one element was related to safety in schools, there's a little different strategy for every school that's been touched by the bond project. So this is where it would be budgeted, but you're not going to see that direct line in there because it's the bond projects as a whole. And Bob, I'm going to see if you want to
Yeah, so Barbara, you can also go out onto the district's website. Under the community, you'll find the bond projects and the list by school, which will show the security upgrades that have either occurred or will occur by the end of the bond cycle.
So, just to be clear, that's bond money though.
Correct.
Once the bond money is gone, you have to go back to the people to vote for a new bond. So does the district have money every year that they get from the state or allocates for that security? Because once the bond money is gone, that's it. And I know that a lot of the bond money was used for different things unrelated to what I'm asking. So I'm curious if that is something that the district's planning on doing once the bond money is gone.
Yeah. So, a couple things. One is, we do have a preventative and deferred maintenance fund, which we transfer dollars in outside of the, from the gen fund. So I think it's like 2 million is the transfer from the gen fund to preventative and deferred maintenance. And then there's a little bit, not huge construction cost dollars in there, but there is a little bit in the safety fund, which I'd have to find it, but it's not a lot. It's not gonna put in a whole new vestibule into a school. What we do after we get through the bond this summer, we do a facilities committee to start going through school by school again. And for very large, it would be a bond.
So I'm sorry, the facility committee happens every year at the end of the school, or it's gonna be a new thing?
Yeah, once we get through a bond project, then the district starts up a facilities committee to prepare for what facilities improvements would be needed in the future.
Okay, so how much longer do you think you'll have the bond money to carry? How many more years, or is this it?
You know, yeah.
Well, it could go on for a while. Right now, we're probably planning around an additional 3 years. We have projects for 2, but as we're seeing with the supply chain issues, a lot of our projects are having to be delayed. I think our 2008 bond, we were still using it in up to 2016, I believe. So to spend it down to 0 can take some time to do. The majority of the original commitments of the bond should be complete in 2 years. But it'll be a little while before we spend all of the money with the bond premium and R cubed that you've probably heard us talk about. Specific to the security improvements, our safety and risk management department, for if we identify we need an additional camera to cover this area of the school, that's funded out of their existing budget. That's just a general fund.
The schools? What do you mean by there?
The
Safety and risk management.
Where's that? Can you tell me where that might be? I don't know even
Would
how
the
much money we're
risk
talking
fund
about.
pay for it? I think it would be risk fund.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's gonna be risk, it's gonna be an internal service fund, and it's gonna be on page.
We're getting that for you.
So the risk fund is on page 184.
184?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, 184. So then, under the internal services fund?
Yes.
Okay, that's the one I have, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Larger items like vestibules, like you brought up, that would most likely come from a long-range facilities planning and then some capital improvement plan beyond that.
So
That's
does-
not something we fund or could fund out of the general fund.
Okay, interesting, okay. And then, did the schools get money for the principal to decide to use for what they believe is necessary for their safety of the school? Or does it only come from the heads? So meaning, I would like to think that the principal and the parent and the teachers at the school know possibly what's best for their school, and they make that decision so they can get it out of their fund? Or does it always have to come from up top?
Most of the principals have office of the principal, and they have some discretionary funds within that. For a safety thing like cameras, things like that, those generally come centrally, because we also need to be sure that the equipment that's purchased is compatible with our systems. Are you just thinking of film on the window?
That's one, but just how the safety department determines which schools get vestibules and which ones don't, and how much money to spend each school to make them safer. I just think that when we passed the bond, personally, I was thinking about earthquake preparedness. I wasn't thinking the shootings afterwards, and I'm thinking, well, could we use some of that money for some other things, and how is that spent? So I'm just curious how that works and where the money comes from and what the plan is.
We did have the safe vestibules and stuff in the bond. We were thinking both earthquake and vestibules and cameras and things like that in the bond. So we were thinking both. And maybe Nancy and Bob are looking over here like, you got, like they have a good answer to it. But not all the schools are set up that you can add a vestibule just because of the sheer cost.
That's what Nancy just asked, was did we have any schools that didn't get the secured vestibules? And the answer is yes, because architecturally it just wasn't feasible to place one in there. And I can get you a list of that. I don't have it off the top of my head, but for the majority, and I don't have the exact dollar amount, but pretty, of the four, expanding CTE in science, relieving overcrowding, safety and security, and then protect the public investment. So just the general maintenance tasks. Those are the four big categories of the 2018 bond. And a significant portion of that was the safety and security improvements.
Yep. Great questions, thank you.
So are there any projects for safety allocated for this next year or in this budget? I mean, what specific projects are actually for safety, like the windows and, I mean, what in this number here, $33 million, would be for the actual safety? Or is that information available?
We can identify any projects that have been scheduled, but it would be from the Safety and Risk Management Services Department discretion to determine that need. The Risk Management Fund that you see there isn't designed to support security improvements. However, it is a risk management fund, and obviously poor security is a risk to the school district. So Chris Baldridge does have discretion to use those dollars to make improvements throughout the year. I wouldn't call them projects necessarily. It's more reactive responses to identified security needs throughout the school year.
So can the budget committee request that some funds be set aside for improvements that would be for the safety of some of the schools that maybe need it? And how would that be allocated and done?
Yeah, so a couple things. Yes, you could. I would say it should be allocated within the Gen Fund rather than the risk fund, because the risk fund we are self-insured, and so that is the fund that we use to pay some additional insurance premiums. We have a couple safety contracts in there. We have, and any claim that we have to settle comes out of that risk fund. So, and we've done, I don't know if we've done an actuarial on if
Recently, yes.
recently. So what does the actuarial say about our risk fund right now?
At this point, it's healthy. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but as she mentioned, you see 33 million, but we can't spend that 33 million because it's our insurance essentially.
As somebody who's been a little bit involved in the bond from before we went out for it, I'm curious if there is a list of things that you're concerned about, if you know that they're not going to be done, that the ending, there's still decisions being made about money in the bond fund, and that bond discussion isn't really part of this budget because it's a separate, it's a whole separate entity, the bond management. But it just seems like, almost every single school, all the schools that could get vestibules got them. There was a high level of concern about security as we went out for this bond, and those things have been done. So it seems like you're concerned about really specific kinds of things, and maybe the best conversation about those things would be with the bond oversight committee, or with the people who are administering the bond, or whatever, to see, like, are the things that you're talking about, you know, things that could be covered by what we have left in the bond.
So I appreciate that. Now I understand that a lot of it comes from the bond, but my question was, and I clarified that there is no side money every year set for extra stuff that doesn't come through the bond. So the bond denies it if there's a fund that the school could go to for fixer-uppers or whatever they need. If the bond people decided, no, we're not going to spend the money on this because it's not feasible, my question was, do you have some side money? And it sounds like the answer is no. So with that, I mean, and it sounds from what Laura was asking, that there really isn't money that's going to come out from the risk management, because it seems more like insurance than preventative measures that can be taken, not with bond money. So I guess I end this conversation understanding that, one, the bond money, bond people decide. If there's issues with that, I'll bring it up, not necessarily for today's discussion, but also clarifying that as board members for the budget, we can't ask that the board, that the budget have some side money just for things like this.
That's not my understanding. My understanding is we can ask, and we can, and Christie's recommending it come out of the contingency if we do ask.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
great, great.
And Ashley has a question.
Or
comment.
supplant something that's already in the gen fund. So if we identify an amount that we want to put forward towards a project like you're talking about, we might want to reduce somewhere else in the budget, depending on priorities.
Right, okay.
Back to the total, the deferred maintenance resources that you mentioned right in the beginning of your answer, Superintendent. It does look like there's about 8 million proposed for this current budget. A little increase from this last budget. So, page 174 at the top. And so my question is just that if we are, would we be able to look to this fund to understand what some of those deferred maintenance projects are, or preventive projects embedded? Like, why are we proposing 8 million there this time versus, what it's been in the past?
So part of it is related to where the fund balance is right now, and there'll be a number of expenditures that come from this fund over the summer. And I don't have the exact number of that. And then the proposed is that we just take 2 million from the gen fund as a transfer. So that 2 million gets you to, with the beginning fund balance of 6 to 8 million. And we could, I don't think we have the projects with us, but we could come back with a list of some of those projects.
Yeah, I think the question is just what
kinds of things?
Are any of those related to safety, to be responsive to Barbara's question?
Yeah, we'll get the list for summer.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Great, thank you very much. Yes.
I had a couple of questions. So I know last year we allocated, I think, some of the contingency to instructional aides to help reduce class sizes. Do we know what the impact of that was? And then in this budget here, what kind of money, I guess, or resources are being allocated to continue down the path of reducing class sizes?
So, as I recall, last budget, there was a move of about $1 million from contingency for about 10 licensed positions, and those went in 1111 elementary. We've not reduced any of the FTE in 1111. And there isn't a pathway, as we see the budget right now, to do a major class size reduction without thinking about what else would we cut from other places. So that would be the exercise. Is there, let's say we wanted to get to 10, where are we going to pull another $1 million from? I think that somewhere Olga's going to look at the class size numbers, that you have that somewhere. So give her a minute to look up that, and then we'll.
So I guess on that kind of thought, I know you mentioned mentors being pushed back into the schools themselves to assist the teachers or like mentor the teachers. Do they also back them up? Can they actually go into the classroom and help with the children themselves and the students themselves in the daily education of them?
That's not the primary function of their job, but they can be in classrooms to help coach and assist, and especially like a behavior specialist too, if there's some struggling behaviors. And also both that instructional mentor and the behavior specialist often substitute as well. So they're kind of on that list of people who substitute if we don't have a sub.
Has the district looked at streamlining processes to help find that $1 million? That would help add to the teacher role for the education of the children, reducing the class sizes and such. Have you looked at streamlining, I mean, everything from IT related to how you communicate to make it more efficient? Has there been an effort made for that?
What we're finding right now is everything costs more money, but we always are trying to find those efficiencies. Just like the technology's actually escalated in costs like crazy. So we haven't, and then software costs have increased. So we have not found, I mean, we always try to, but I don't know where we would, we haven't gone through a full scale, let's look at everything. We have not done that.
I mean, as a budget committee member, I would recommend that the district, perhaps form a committee from each department, have somebody sitting and actually start looking at how can we streamline and reduce our costs, whether it's paper related, can we do stuff more electronically and reduce the amount of paper we use? Things, it's endless what you can possibly find when you actually try to focus and look for it. And see what we can do, because I know that this conversation about reducing class sizes has been happening for decades.
Yep.
And decades, and yet there's no action taken on it, and it'd be really nice to see an effort made to see what we can do to make that happen, because I think it would benefit the children, of course. It would also improve the safety, because a smaller class is more controllable than 30 young kids with one, instructional teacher up there. I did have another question. I was trying to remember what it was. I lost my train of thought there, so give me a second here. I guess you guys can come back to me. I'll remember what it is. Sorry about that, but I did have more questions for you.
Totally understand. Thank you, Laura. Yes, Ashley.
If no one else wants to go, I'll go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before we move on from facilities, I know we've gotten a lot of questions in the recent, well, not even week, about the heat in some of our schools and classrooms. And so just wondering if, it's probably the same answer with the bond work, needing to talk with the bond committee about potential upgrades to air conditioning units or additions of air conditioning to buildings. But can you speak a little to that and whether that's something we could build in, need to think in the next bond cycle? All of that.
Yeah, so one thing we've started, I think the contract signed on this, is an HVAC assessment. And because that will go school by school and look at current state of the HVAC, do they have air conditioning, what places in some because there are some buildings that have places with air conditioning. So that'll be the first step, because then you'll be able to see scope. We're trying to keep a really close eye on, we've got a couple schools that there's lots of schools we're concerned about, but there's a couple that top the list for us. And so we have, well, one, we're thinking we need to ask the builder, the architect, a few more questions about the HVAC. And then we're also trying a little bit of coating that can do some heat resistance, but in those cases, I think we're only dropping the temperature by a degree or two. So we're trying to go through each of those things. We did switch all of our ventilation systems in the last 2 days. Now that the emergency order and things is dropping, to let in much more external air at night, because what you really want to do is get all the hot air out, all the cool air in at night, and then not as much air from the outside during the day. So we've done that as well. But the big key to really understand impact and dollar impact is going to be that HVAC assessment. That should be the first work of a facilities committee.
Okay, thank you. It seems like this is going to be a problem
Yeah.
ongoing.
I
And
think-
it's, are kids and teachers able to move to cooler parts of the building? I mean, I'm thinking like with the bond work, we have these amazing libraries and auditoriums and things, but if you can't learn in your classroom
Agreed.
because it's too hot, that's concerning.
Yeah, they can if they have space. So we do encourage people to work with their building principal around that. And the other thing is, I think we're in a really different place than we were in, and I'm looking at Nancy to see if she remembers this, but we initially were talking about some additional air and stuff in the last bond, and it was not supported at the time. To move that direction. Do you remember that, Nancy? And so, looking back where we are now with how the climate has changed in this time, I think we have a totally different argument.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Other questions? Yes,
Yeah,
Laura.
to follow up on Ashley's question, is there temporary cooling equipment that's used in these classrooms that are like just a window air conditioner or a portable air conditioner unit to help offset some of the heat that's in these classrooms?
Not currently, no. They're not allowed, which sounds like a bad thing to say. And I've had to say it multiple times today, so I'm quite aware of it. The challenges that it presents is, one, the air has to be exhausted. The hot air has to be exhausted out. So that's open window. Goes back to security.
Right.
That's a breach in our security, basically. It creates condensation, so the water has to be evacuated from the room somehow. And the bigger concern is it's not just one classroom, it's a school, and it's multiple schools. So you start to talk about electrical load for when you talk air conditioning, that's a 15 amp device that you're putting on a circuit that's shared with everything else in the classroom, and it really just starts to create an overload and fire risk, to be honest.
Right, same thing with the heaters, the space heaters do the same thing, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they're a concern, and not every classroom is capable.
Okay. I did have some other questions. So I know that you guys had mentioned the 2% increase for, I think it's 10% for utilities and 2% for materials and services. And correct me if I'm wrong, you were underestimating the inflationary impact. So can you explain to us what the theory is to rather than go conservative, why go less than what you think it's really going to be? Because then that kind of skews the whole budget. It'll eat up pieces of it that maybe we need to know about.
Yeah, we chose the 2% as thinking about just that bit of growth across all the departments as a way to also begin to be let's really think carefully about cost savings. So to underestimate a little bit helps us really think, how do we streamline? So that going back to that streamline. If we have places, we'll be able to watch each of those to see if we have places that are at risk, and we can make those decisions within the contingency or from other departments.
So that leads me to another question I think I remember asking Bob about, is that are you asking department heads, principals, across the board, because we're going into a contraction period, can you look at each of your departments and where would you cut 2%, 5% across the board? Present to us your proposals on how you can make that happen. Is that in discussion right
Yep.
now at all?
We've started some of that, for sure.
Okay.
Even in the budget building process, we tried to look out to see where could we start, which is why we've done some shifting, we've had some of those conversations. No one was asked, what do you need to add? They might have been asked, what do you need to shift between this expenditure and this line of expenditures? You can shift, but you can't add. So they've already been starting that exercise, and we're going to have to do that almost level by level in the schools and department by department.
Okay.
For sure.
And I hate to ask this question then, based on that, is there any way that we can increase the funds that go to the principals? Because one of the feedback that I got from the teachers union was that the equipment in the classrooms themselves, whether it's the desks and whatnot, is subpar. So is there any way we can increase the funding to the principals at the school level to allocate to upgrade, to, increase or improve the equipment that's actually in the classrooms with the teachers?
Yeah, we can. We just have to take it from somewhere else.
Okay.
And I think there's like the, well, I'll give you an example of a middle school. Those middle school, high school budgets, those principals are pretty good about trying to plan. But for example, we have a middle school who had bond work done, got really great science tables, wanted to upgrade their other science tables to be the same standard.
Right.
And it's just,
Ate up the money.
yeah. But schools do some of that, and then we do some district-wide chairs and desks and things like that, and been trying to do that through that equity-based asset replacement and to get on a rotation schedule.
So my last question for you guys, I think, is, I know you're in negotiations right now with the union. And teacher retention is vital. Also, attracting quality teachers is also vital, especially for closing that educational gap. Is that built into this budget, taking those considerations?
Yeah, we did a salary analysis, and we both recently even updated it with our current, with the two current districts that have settled. I haven't looked at it yet because it just came in, but we're trying to remain competitive to the market. What I would say in our state, it would be awesome if our state said, here's the way from the state level funding, we believe you should value teacher pay and where they should start, and then fund it at that level. I think some of the class size numbers, especially in Oregon, are a result of that underfunding.
Okay, thank you.
Can I go back to class size for a minute, too? So right now, just elementary, we have 681 classrooms. About 30 of them, 22 are over 30. 250 are between 25 and 29, and then we have 409 classrooms that are 24 or below. One of our struggles is around balancing, because we have, out of those 409, we have 146 that are below 18. So if we could level them all out, I think that would also help our class size numbers. And then we also have about a 15% mobility of our students across schools. So what you start with and the way you staff at the beginning, if you think about 15% either in or out, that also is impacting that. So you'll start with either a reasonable class size, and it grows over the course of a year, or maybe a class size starts at 32 and ends up at 24 by the end of the year. So we're kind of always looking at that and trying to adjust as we go. But at the elementary, those self-contained classrooms, that's they get kind of locked in with their teacher, so.
I know that that's a big complaint I hear all the time, is the class sizes.
Yep.
And it's just something that I know was covered in the Student Investment Act when they presented to you, and I just see very, very little action taken to actually try to reduce those. It would be important for the students and their educational development.
What, and if you think about the integrated application, one of the other choices is there's about 21 million that goes to social emotional learning, counselors, social workers. So if you spent, if you took 21 million and shifted to class size, that would be a way, but that's also then, what about the social, so we're kind of in this tricky spot on it, but I agree.
I've had a request for those numbers, the classroom size numbers again, and then we'll go to Nancy, who's had her hand up as well. So
Okay.
can you repeat those numbers for us?
Yeah, so we have 681 elementary classrooms. This is current, or maybe 4 weeks ago. 30 of those, 22 are over 30. 250 classrooms are between 25 and 29. 409 classrooms are 24 or below. And out of those 409, we have 146 that are below 18 students. Okay, which is super hard if you're the teacher with 30 and others have 18. That's hard.
Yeah.
I fully recognize that.
Yeah.
And if you have 18, you're like, shh, don't tell anyone. I'm just gonna keep my little 18 kids here. That's awesome.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. And Nancy, you had a question.
A couple of questions, though I do have to comment. I think for me, always understanding class size, that piece of, in many of our worlds, if you have 681 classrooms, you divide the number of kids and everybody gets this many classrooms, yet schools don't work that way because the kids who show up at that school that year are the kids you have to deal with. And so you have this school that has too many kids and that school that, it just doesn't work as simply as it would be nice if it did. In the budget message, there was discussion about moving a number of positions to grant positions, to grant funding. And grant funding is always a little bit more iffy for positions because grants go away. Though in education, there are grants that don't seem to go away. Have you moved those positions to the kinds of grants that don't go away, or are they in the kinds of grants that do go away?
They're in the grants, 90% of them are in the grants that don't go away. So the student investment account with the CAT task, that would take a legislative change, major. So those are, and high school success too. So the majority of them are in grants that don't go away.
Great. I just also wanted to add, and Superintendent Perry just said a piece of this, and that is that every time you make decisions about class size, you have to take it from somewhere. And my first round of budget on the school board, we cut librarians, which was a horrendous thing to do. Who doesn't like or think there's value in librarians? But the discussion there was librarians versus classroom teachers and class size. So we've been through this time with COVID, with many changes in our communities, and we have so many more needs for supports, just like was said, with 21 million in the kinds of supports that are helping teachers manage behavior in the classroom and all of that. And you could get rid of all that and bring class size down, but what would your teachers say? Please do that? Or would they say, oh my gosh, don't take those people away from me? I mean, it's a bigger discussion. But I do think that it is all much more complex than we wish it was. The last question I have is, I know there's been a bill going through the legislature. I don't know where it is at the moment, but it's a bill about reading and is requiring that there be a significant amount of investment in professional development for teachers on how they teach reading, and it maybe has to do with some curriculum investments for reading, lots of things that should really move the dial for our kiddos in getting that third grade reading on track. I am unaware if that bill is going to get through this legislature and if it has any money attached, or is it one of those great unfunded mandates where they just say to you, do all these things and figure out the money.
So the early literacy bill is moving its way through, right now very slowly, but it is set to pass. I can't remember the bill number now. It requires you to put together an early literacy plan, which we have all the components mostly put together with how we're thinking about both our students learning English to read and our multilingual learners. It is, right now they're projecting, or at least the governor's hopeful to get 120 million statewide for early literacy. So for Salem-Keizer, we're talking $3.5 to $4 million. It should be set for professional development, curriculum adoption. I think there might be some for reading specialist within there. They're calling it high-dose tutoring. And all that would be targeted at K through 3. My sense is it would come in revenue in the grant funds, Fund 240, along with the student investment account, high school success, all of that. And I think that from a pure budget committee job, I think we would have enough room to accept the revenue and allocate expenditures. But the early literacy bill, you have to bring it to the, you have to bring the plan to the board in public. So even if it didn't require a convening of the budget committee, you would still see it in public because it's a required plan to be presented in public, voted on by the school board, and then submitted to ODE. But the goal is with dollars, much like high school success.
Great. But you also said that you're on a path already in many of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, correct.
Great,
It
thank
won't
you.
take us much to get our plan together. The extra dollars will be nice.
Great, thanks.
Yeah.
So I believe I did read an article about that, and it was a couple of days ago, and I think they were looking at potentially slashing that to
Yeah.
70 million from 120. It's part of the intervention. So anyways, it's still in flux from what I understand.
It
too,
totally
as well.
is.
Yeah, completely in flux. To talk to you about, the smaller or reducing the classroom sizes, or I think there needs to be a balance, between social, the SEL piece of it, and also the classroom sizes, because, emotionally, children can't learn with the chaos with large classrooms. So what I wouldn't be looking to completely wipe out the SEL, but perhaps just reallocate some of the funds. Maybe it could be from contingency too. We don't have to touch the SEL piece of it. But to make some strides and take some actual action to reduce those costs. 30 plus is unacceptable. And we have, 22?
At 30, not 30 plus.
At 30. And then we have over 25. We have how many?
250 between 25 and 29.
I mean, that's
That's just elementary.
and that's just elementary.
This is just
yes,
elementary.
Thank you. And so I still would like to propose that we look at allocating some funds from a source, whether it's SEL or contingency, to help reduce those class sizes and keep making strides towards doing that. But in baby steps, because I agree, we don't want to wipe out librarians and then regret it later. Take small strides, which is what we kind of did last year to try to address it.
So is that a recommendation that, is that something that is possible from the district's point of view to come back with maybe a couple of options to consider?
Is the desire to have it be out of social emotional learning? Because that's where the big bucket of money is.
I just heard.
Or just-
I just heard contingency.
Yeah.
Was what
Yeah.
was.
Either one, whatever the committee, feels is best, but I would like to see, I would propose we pull money from somewhere as a committee, but wherever, the committee would think is best.
Well, could I suggest that we just understand the pricing of like adding 10 elementary, like we did last cycle, adding 10 elementary educators costs X number, adding this many support staff costs this much, and then figure out where it comes from later and whether there's the,
Yeah, the quick math is 10 licensed teachers is about $1 million. It's 960. So that's the quick math. The other quick math to reduce K2 by 1, if you do just purely from a staffing, I think it was like at $2.1 million because you also need to make sure you have enough music and PE and all of that, so teachers have their preparation time. So a small step of 10 is between, is about $1 million, lowering class by 1 K2, 2.1 is just the rough math.
so if our goal was to get, say, all 22 of the classrooms that are over, that are 30 or over,
It'd be about 2
under 30, be 2.2 million. No,
I think
million.
so, I think so.
A little over 2
Yeah,
million.
we'd have to go back and, you just have to go back and run the staffing model based on every school. So let's see, I'm looking at John to see if he thinks that's doable, what sort of timeline?
It makes a big difference. Thank you, Erin. It makes a big difference about if we're talking K-1, 2, or if we're talking all across elementary.
Yeah, that was mine.
The ability to cost across all class sizes would take significantly longer than K-1, 2.
Yeah, and that was kind of the question I wanted to pose, because when we think about K-5, I mean, there is a difference when we're thinking about K-2, K-3, and just, you know, the level of learning and attention, and when we think about, like, the literacy component. So if there is interest in that, like, I would rather focus on that, like, K-2, K-3 range.
That's a good idea.
But-
Yeah. It's a good start. It's a good start, yeah.
I would also like to ask if we can get an assessment of, in these classrooms, from the 25 to all the way to 30, how many IAs are in each classroom? And what would it cost if there were to be added another
I have an
IA,
IA in every classroom that's above 25.
or even an additional one?
You do, did you just say you do have an IA?
No, we
You're
do
at-
not have, you said,
Yeah.
the question is what would it cost
would
to
it
have an
cost?
IA?
And
do
then
that?
how many of those classrooms do we have an IA in?
Okay.
Part-time, a split.
And
I'm just
we,
thinking,
could
like,
you,
man, if we
could we
have
also know what
AA and
grade levels the 22 over 30s are?
that would be helpful.
Yeah.
And while they're getting that, Bob's got his hand up.
I just want to put out the reminder that a variable in this calculation has to do with the actual school buildings themselves and
Space.
whether or not the
Yeah.
capacity exists to have
Or-
class size down at a specific level without doing a boundary adjustment.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that should go in the assessment of having IAs, and, I mean, got to earn your money on
That
that
could
work.
be a first step, perhaps. So, let's see, Robert,
Yes, some of the things I would think as we're talking, and as the director, Osvaldo mentioned, increasing those aides in those classrooms of 25 to 30. Also, the consideration of what are the weighted of those particular classrooms of students that maybe are on IEP, maybe 504, or are ESL students, or in some cases are behavior issues. So I think those are priorities also that we need to take into consideration when we're assigning the class size to those kids, because not only the kids, but that teacher at the end of the year is going to be more stressed than your average teacher that maybe has 30 students that are all on grade level and working compatible with each other. So I think those are considerations that we need to also figure into that when we are assigning IAs, and also when we are determining which classrooms have less than 30 or or less than that number of students.
Great, thank you. Did you have your hand up? Did you have this?
Yeah, I just had a question that is kind of tangentially related to all of this, because, sorry. So I was just looking at our totals, and so we've got like total instruction FTE at over 3,000, and then total support at over 1,600. And I was just wondering, and if folks are wondering where I'm looking at, it's on page 79. I would like to know what Office of the Principal Service 2410, what that is in our support services. If, like, who's in that when we're talking about the 346.92 FTE that are in that?
So top of 78, right?
Yeah, top of 78,
Okay,
sorry.
So I'm looking at, okay, there it is, 346. I was looking at a different column last year. This is all your Office of the Principal. So principals, assistant principals, the support staff that would be in those buildings, front office staff would
Front
be
office staff.
what's in there. And then the 2490 other support services, this is your, like your level director positions, the principal supervisor type, school improvement type positions are in that one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and so, but just for clarity, it's, those ones are principals and like assistant principals, and then that front office staff, that doesn't include like guidance counselors, and, because guidance counselors are in other places.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. Yep.
All right, any last questions anybody
I
has?
was curious, how many kids are serviced for the tag? How many kids are in tag?
What's the number? We'll look it up. The classrooms at 30 or above, 3 are K1, 4 are 2-3, and 15 are 4-5. And they all have some level of additional IA support because of the number of students.
Say those numbers one more time.
3 are K1, 4 are second and third grade, 15 are 4-5.
That was for the 30 plus.
30 plus.
And they, all of those have help.
Some level of help. I couldn't tell you the numbers of hours of help.
I have a question.
Yes, Laura.
Kind of off topic here, or not off topic, but changing the subject. In the treatment and intervention centers, how many students will that serve, or how many students can it serve?
Yeah, it depends on the size of the location, but a classroom like a day treatment center is 3 to 5 kids. So very small, very intensive. So even a facility that has 4 classrooms, you're thinking of 15 to 20 kids at a time. So super small, very high cost per student, but intensive treatment. And in a day treatment program, they go through about 90 days. So if you think in terms of how many kids can a center serve over the course of a year, then you're exponentially serving more kids, because the design is you get in, get treatment, understand regulation, learn some behavior management skills, and then you transition back to a lesser restrictive setting, maybe a self-contained classroom, maybe a regular classroom.
Thank you.
About 2,000 kids are identified as talented and gifted.
I just have to say thanks to the team who's like ready for it.
These are awesome.
You can see them like, Amy, just
You're just like,
If
just
we're on a
popping up
game
on-
show, we're going to call you.
I want to play it back, scavenger hunt budget, you know.
I had a quick question on page 77 regarding executive administration services, and I see I'm understanding it additional to FTE. Just was hoping for a description of what.
Yeah, they were just moved positions. They were in that, I think you'll see in 2490, it was under the other support services, school administration. They were just coded incorrectly, so that's why we put them into the executive. So it's like Director of Strategic Initiatives, that one, which is more executive function than direct support to schools, even though that position supervises a couple schools.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Ashley.
You may have covered this at the last meeting, but can you remind us where the money sits for the contracted culturally responsive mental health supports is?
Yeah, I think it is in social workers. This is the one that we added to North and McKay, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under general fund?
It is in the gen fund, yep. I just have to find it.
I guess more importantly, it's remaining.
It's remaining in,
stable?
yes,
Are we
yes.
gonna see, are those contracts gonna be more costly this year? Are we seeing inflation indicators?
I have not heard anything. I know we place them in there with the same contracted amount, and I have not heard anything from our director over those programs about any escalation of
Okay.
cost. That's not to say there aren't, I just haven't heard it.
And so were those in ESSER before, and now they're being moved to gen fund, or?
No,
am I
they were
confused?
in, they
Gen
were in the
fund?
gen fund. And if you think back to a couple years ago when we split out safety and social work,
Mhm.
they're in the social work section.
Okay.
Which is where?
66.
Page 66.
Thank you, page 66.
Yeah, you've got social work on page 66, and then psychological services at the top of page 69.
Nice. One more question for
I'm
the night.
looking, that's where we budgeted, correct? I'm looking at Sarah.
I can't remember what we're talking about exactly. Are we talking about the 400?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, then nothing's changed.
Okay,
Yeah,
yep.
just rolled forward. Yeah.
Okay.
Ashley,
I
did you
didn't
have another
know their
question?
names or
Please.
anything.
Yes, but now once you asked me that, I drew a blank on what
Okay.
it was.
So if I
Oh, I
can-
know.
okay.
Oh, go ahead. You go.
I was just gonna ask for clarity on the psychological, I kind of missed that one, the psychological services, and what that is like differentiated from social work, which I recognize like might be
Yeah,
different, but if you
school
could.
psychologists, so those are a lot of that work that they do is around assessment of kids. And then the social workers are just a kind of a different function. They're placed in a school, they connect services. Some of them can do small group counseling, things like that.
So this 11 FTE in this 2140 in psychological services, is that 11?
District-wide.
District-wide psychologists?
Correct.
Do you ever get any money from the health department or insurance, health insurance, to deal with those evaluations instead?
Yeah, no, we're working on a proposal to be able to do Medicaid billing, but, and that would get us some reimbursement. Generally, the Medicaid billing is best used for like one-on-one nursing and some of those more direct medical expenses. So that's one way we're looking to recoup some of those costs, but no, even our nursing services are totally, I know that doesn't make any sense, does it? It's our nursing, the nursing cadre that we have is totally paid for by the monies we get.
And is that the same at the other large districts?
Correct, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah. We, over the pandemic, we built up our nursing forces under our district, and multiple of those are funded out of ESSER. And so we are going to have to think about, do we continue the same level of nursing services? And we have kids with more and more medical needs. And where does that come next year into the gen fund? And if you can do Medicaid billing, how much would that be? But as you're thinking about class size, I'm thinking about what are the things in ESSER that we might need to? Do we pull into that gen fund next year as well?
For sure. Do you have one more? Go.
Unless someone else, I don't want to keep
Go ahead.
Before you forget.
Okay. Because I'm relentlessly focused on our board goals that we established at the beginning of the year. I appreciate, Superintendent and your team, all of the effort that's gone into building the budget in alignment with not only the board goals, but the larger strategies for the district. I think, when I think about improving academic performance, you've talked about a lot of the things that will help do that. I do, because it came up, Nancy mentioned the librarians. I do think it would be nice to move back in the direction of trying to have a certain number of elementary librarians or others to really add additional support to our early literacy programs. I don't know how we'd go about doing that, but I just think that they can really add a lot of value. Under our second goal to equitably improve the physical, mental, social, and emotional health of all students and staff, we know there isn't a process underway to look at developing a school-based health center or a mobile school-based health center. And so I'm curious if we can see that in the budget, or is it mostly just staff time dedicated to working with community partners? And what it might look like if we need to amend the budget in this, after we adopt the current budget, to make sure that we can implement a school-based health center.
So right now, we're looking at just existing staff time for the development of a model around for a school-based health clinic. And there's not a direct line item in the budget yet. We're trying to get a consultant on board to help really move the project. So that's going to cost some dollars, and ESSER, I think, can be used for this time. If you get to the place of a school-based health clinic and you say it's going to cost $1 million, then first of all, I think we would want to bring the plan into the boardroom, and then the board has the authority to run a supplemental budget process, which would say, we want you to take this out of contingency, we want you to take this out of elementary staffing, we want you to take this out of school counselors, but I'm just making up so nobody thinks I'm picking on them. But athletics, don't say that, Nancy. Nancy, that's not funny. Not
Music,
funny.
music for Nancy.
Yeah, after June 30th, that will be funny. That will be funny. That would be the way you would do it. And the board has the authority to come back through a supplemental budget process after it's adopted. And you did that last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, Laura.
Question, so with all the great discussion that we're having here, can we request that you guys come back to us with proposals on how maybe you would find money for safety, money for, Ashley's librarians, things, and then also maybe money to help reduce, what your recommendations would be to us, where you would take the money from if you were to reallocate funds?
Is that
something
would that
we
be
can-
something that would happen on Monday at our next meeting?
Monday at our next meeting, have you
I
guys
was nodding my
present-
head thinking, anything I say out loud, I'm going to make somebody mad at me, whatever I say. I'm happy. Yes, we can do some of that, and we'll tell you impact.
Yeah.
So we'll say, here's 10 FTE, you can put it in elementary, here's what it will cost you. We would recommend, I probably am not going to recommend taking from contingency because I feel like it's too low already. But here's where we might take it from, here's the exchange we can do.
And by then, we'll have the budget forecast for next year, and
Yeah,
maybe
because
a
budget
little bit
forecast should come out tomorrow.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. And we'll see
Yeah.
what our legislature does.
I have a
And
last
Karina?
question, and this is just more like to wrap my mind around it. As we were reviewing last week, in the budget message, the outcomes, and there was a discussion about like improving regular attendance rate, and I'm assuming that a majority of that is going into the integrated planning.
Correct.
is there any, or could you speak to any of it being blended into like the general fund?
Just
like,
for
efforts?
attendance or for all of the strategies?
I had attendance on my mind, recognizing just how hard that has been, but I understand that that's probably embedded with all of the strategies in some way or another.
Attendance is mainly in the any direct dollars for attendance, and it's not a ton. It's about $350,000, I think, in the integrated plan for attendance. It's around attendance awareness, some attendance tracking, really helping the schools seek out how to get ways for kids to attend. I would say attendance, the way it's woven in is every school counselor worries about attendance and tracks that. But there's another direct dollar amount. It's not like we would.
No, yeah, I figured that piece, yeah. Thank you.
All right. Okay, well, I think I will move us on to public comment. I understand we've got a few members of the public here to provide us with some input. So I'm going to read a couple of instruction pieces, and then all of us here in the room for Spanish-speaking participants will need to put our headset on, and it should be all set for us. So we do have a few members of the public. We have selected speakers at random. We've provided an opportunity for public comment to call in and Zoom and in person, and have allotted 30 minutes to hear comment. No one signed up to provide comment in person. Each of the callers has 3 minutes, and there are electronic mechanisms used for translation. We'll also have a countdown on the screen, and at 30 seconds it turns from green to yellow, and at 1 second it turns to red, and then plays a short bell when time is up. So that's how our participants will know that. Please be mindful of your pace for our interpreters, and like I said, 2 people have signed up to comment, so we expect we can hear from everybody who has signed up. So I'm going to turn this over to our technology folks and ask them to bring on our first participant.
Yeah, our first caller this evening is going to be Duneshka. And Duneshka, are you able to unmute? Please star 6. While we're waiting for to have Duneshka go ahead and get started, I'll go ahead and bring in our second person to see if we can get them going and come back. Duneshka, let's try one more time. Are you there to provide comment? It'll be star 6 to unmute. Chair, would you like me to move on to the second caller?
Yes, please do.
All right, our second caller this evening is Alma. Alma, are you there and able to unmute? That'll be star 6 on your phone.
I am here, Duneshka Otero, by the way.
All right, looks like we got Duneshka on the line. Chair, go ahead and let us know when she's ready to get started.
All right, she can proceed at any time.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for the confusion. My first time testifying over the phone. Good evening, Superintendent Christy Perry, members of the Cabinet, and members of the Salem-Keizer School Board. Thank you for having me here. I am Duneshka Otero Serrano, and I serve as the Executive Director of the Salem-Keizer Coalition for Equality. We work daily with Spanish-speaking parents to help them navigate the education system and to support their children's teachers in school. The Coalition Works is an important part of the solution in closing the achievement gap in reading and writing in our schools from birth to third grade and beyond. As you know, our staff and facilitators team are ready and committed to helping educate our Latino parents to better partner with teachers and teachers' aides and administrators. The 17,000 Latino students and all our students of color in our district deserve an excellent education as it is defined for each age and grade level. These are things that I have heard from most of you and some of the staff that I have met, so we are in alignment on what our goals are. And after this first year of serving as an ED at the Coalition and meeting school parents and school leadership staff, I feel certain that if we all work together, we can help that dream become a reality in the next few years. I want to take a minute to thank Superintendent Perry and incoming Superintendent Castañeda for their vision in deciding on the school budget proposals allocation to protect the instructional core of reading, writing, and math. I believe that all the stars are realigning from the government plant to the legislature to our local nonprofit, definitely our parents, to make sure that we are laser focused on getting our kids back to learning at their grade level. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
I like the dog.
I love having the dog. All right, do we have a second caller?
We do. Let's try one more time. Alma, are you there and able to provide your comment? It'll be *6 to unmute. We might have someone here to help. Alma, are you there? It'll be *6 to unmute.
Did either one of them need interpretation? I'm just wondering, did Alma need interpretation?
That's what I was wondering.
So we have Marisela from the coalition to help as well, and we have her on the line as well to support.
Okay.
Is she being?
Do they have
is
the
she being
instructions
told?
in Spanish?
Yeah, that's right.
They do, okay, that was my,
Thank you.
Estoy conectada, Alma.
ya le escuchamos ahora sí, Alma.
This is Alma. We can hear you now, Alma. Go ahead. I wonder if Alma needs interpretation. We do have Marisela from the coalition to help her, and we also have
Alma, le podemos, si está.
This is the interpreter. It seems that the YouTube channel is being broadcasted. So good evening, directors of the school board, Superintendent Perry, and cabinet members. My name is Alma Luma, and I am one of the grandparent leaders for the Salem-Keizer Coalition for Equality's Parent Leadership Group. I have 2 grandchildren in the Salem-Keizer schools. I want to thank Superintendent Perry and incoming Superintendent Castañeda for their wise decision to protect the current budget allocations for reading and writing and math in all grade levels. From my own experience and that of thousands of Latino mothers and fathers whom I have known over the last 25 years, we have known that the vast majority of our children were always, on average, 1 to 2 grades behind in their reading as they went through the schools in Salem-Keizer. I'm sorry, we, Latino immigrant parents and grandparents, have been advocating nonstop for 23 years, demanding that the Salem-Keizer School District help our thousands of children in kindergarten, first, second, and third grades to read, write, and do grade level math. We have always known that all children learn to read between kindergarten and third grade. And in fourth grade, they read to learn. If they are behind from the start, they never catch up. Helping all our children stay at a grade level from kindergarten to third grade in reading, writing, and math is the most pressing civil and human rights issue of our times. Our Salem-Keizer Coalition for Equality's trained Spanish-speaking moms who facilitate the Reading Together We Learn program are part of the solution to help our children to read well. We all want them to be successful in school and join the ranks of the honor and advanced placement classes. That is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alma. Thank you for coming tonight. Really appreciate it. All right. Members of the committee, any further questions before we end our evening tonight? Anything?
Just one comment.
Yeah.
Whenever we're navigating interpretation, our Interactio is communicating directly with families in Spanish as they come in. But we can't hear it on our end.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank goodness for Zoom and all that it does and all it's capable of. All right. So just as a reminder, everyone, on Monday, May the 22nd is our next meeting. We'll have time for public comment and then further deliberations, and we'll hear from our amazing team on some of the recommendations or some of the questions that we had. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday, if we can't come to an agreement on the budget on Monday, then we've got those reserved on our calendars as well. So with that, Laura, did you have one more question?
I just had one more question, comment, or whatever it was. So I had reached out to the teachers union to ask, what it is that they were looking for from the budget, and they wrote me a very nice letter. I asked to share it with the budget committee, but I'm not quite sure how to do that without creating a meeting.
We can have Cassie do it for you.
Okay, so I was in.
That'd be great.
Okay, I will go ahead.
That would be great, and Cassie will help get it to us on the appropriate channels.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. Well, with that, everybody, I'm going to adjourn our meeting, and thank you, everybody, for coming, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.